Well, Farnell, what is FNMusicweb? I know what the FN stands for.
Well, long time ago, I was starting doing web design and a lot of music stuff. I registered my business as, Farnell Newton Music and Web Service. So, but it just carried over to being the name of my label because I started using that name a lot for my own music, and so that's what the name comes from.
So it's a label.
It's a label, yeah. It's an indie label now, and it's more. It's not a label in a conventional sense. It's a label to really help other musicians get their music out and get it, and help them put their project together to finish their project. Because a lot of times we're like, oh, we wrote all these songs. Now what are we gonna do? Or they finally go in the studio, they record everything, they got a CD in their hand, and they say, what now? So I wanted to basically help guide people in the right direction, and I helped them with their graphic design. I helped them with their social media plan. I helped them with how to get gigs and teaching them and showing them how to put out press releases and things like that. So basically just trying to get them doing stuff that I didn't learn until I did my own record and sat there for many hours late night doing what I'm doing now for them.
Are you doing any producing with these albums?
No, not yet, but I will be producing a couple records this year for some other people. So,
well, before we get to the two album releases, what are you doing these days? What you got going besides this? I mean, your music.
I'm doing everything.
Of course.
Besides, teaching at Portland State, I also I'm a music engraver at Oregon Catholic Press, which is probably one of the biggest Catholic publishing companies.
Tell everybody what music engraver means.
Music engraver, I'm the guy that does the sheet music, makes it look all pretty and wonderful, that you read at church and at the choirs and in the songbooks and things like that. So besides that, and just gigging, performing, just did a show with Dennis Edwards of the Temptations and Stevie Wonder a couple of weeks before that. So, and taking care of my babies. I mean,
how many are there now?
I have 4 girls and a boy.
Oh, geez.
And they keep me busy, and I love them to death.
I don't know how you have time for anything else.
I don't. Sleep. That's when I do sleep. That's what I do at the time.
Okay, so you got these two album releases. These are coming up this week. Tell us about them. Tell us about Thursday first.
Well, Thursday is tenor saxophonist Alex Milstead released for his record Kaleidoscope, and I kind of pitched him the whole record. I said, Alex, we also call him Popcorn. I said, Popcorn, you need a record. You're endorsed. He's endorsed by Theo Wani, which is like the most expensive mouthpiece maker. He's endorsed by Pete Marriott saxophones. I said, dude, you don't even have any music to represent who you are. So I already had the album design for him, and I said, this is what you're going to do. And he bought it, and he assembled the great team of musicians for the record. And I'm looking forward to a CD release this coming up.
He's still pretty much straight ahead, right?
Well, he does a lot of stuff. Besides straight ahead stuff, he'll play with members of Lady Gaga band, or he'll play with Mike Phillips, and which is a more R&B and pop and soul. But he's still a straight ahead guy. Yeah,
this album is straight ahead.
Yeah, straight ahead. All original tunes by him, and one tune by trumpeter Tree Palmetto, who will be at the CD release. And so it's a great record, though. It's not just regular straight ahead, but it's really good for being this debate record as a 21-year-old saxophone player.
21,
yeah. Yeah, he also got sick in the middle of the recording session.
Really?
Had the stomach flu.
Oh, man.
He's in the bathroom doing what he had to do, and and he finished the record, and I was extremely happy, and it sounds really great.
Who's on it?
Who's on the record? Tree Palmetto's on trumpet. John Shaw is on bass. Robert Langslet, he's on piano, who studied with Mulgrew Miller, who just passed.
Yes. And
then one of our treasures of Portland now, who just moved back from the East Coast, Chris Brown on drums. So yeah, it's a smashing record.
But Greg Goebel and Reinhardt are gonna. No, Reinhardt's on the other album.
Yeah. Greg Goebel's going to be at the CD release, who I love playing with. Dylan Sundstrom is on bass, and a young guy that goes to PSU, John Houston Johnson, is playing drums. And then Tree will be playing trumpet. And I'm going to be playing trumpet on 2 songs, 2 of my compositions that Alex is using for a CD release.
Right. Okay. That's Thursday.
That's Thursday.
How about Friday?
Then Friday is from actually he studied drums and jazz, I think, at the U of O, but he's known also as a singer-songwriter, guitar player, Chris Lay, and it was just someone I've been knowing for the last couple of years when I used to play with Keegan Smith and all of these different groups, and I saw that he really was he had a passion to put out some great music, but he also weren't afraid to put in the work. You know, if I tell him to go do this, he did that. If I tell him to do this, he did that. He put out a nice record. So that's going to be happening Friday with a lot of great musicians, as well as me and Alex Milstead. We will be performing with him, and Ryan Hart. Mel's is playing drums, who's like, you know,
off the chart.
the pocket of the Northwest.
Yeah.
Also, Marquay Seamster is playing bass.
Wow.
David Guro, who played with Taking Off and all these, Sneaking Out,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other bands playing
Now
mandolin.
that doesn't sound like a singer-songwriter band.
No, it's a mixture. It's like folk, it's like soul, it's pop, a little bit of jazz influence. It's a little bit of everything. So FNMusicweb is not just a jazz, label. You know, I also have like some hip hop producers released a record, and so it's just just good music and just working with artists who want to really put out some great music. So that'll be Friday, and we're looking forward to that too. So,
you know, I got interviewed for a job one time, and I talked to them about what I did. And I said, well, I'm in TV and I'm in print and I'm in radio and I'm on the web. And they go, well, I always get either one of two reactions: either, geez, you've done a lot, or why can't you focus on one thing? So why can't you focus on one thing, Farnell?
Because I love music. Because music-wise, I come from a different background. You know, I was a young kid, originally born in Miami, loving hip-hop and rap music. And then later on, I really got into jazz, living in Philly, which is the home of a lot of my family members and my uncle Sonny Murray. But then I was still in love with hip-hop. And then I went to Oberlin in Ohio and fell in love with salsa music and been doing Latin and Cuban and Puerto Rican music. So it's just a mixture of everything I love. It's like no one said I have to just do one thing, you know. I can't just do one thing. I got to pay the bills.